Take a slow, deep breath before you keep reading. This is not a light message. It did not come from a place of ease or comfort. It came through quiet nights, long silences, and feelings that were never spoken out loud. It is reaching you right now because something has shifted, something changed, and the window of time is getting smaller. Please stay with this. Subscribe if you have not yet. Turn on all notifications and stay until the very end, because what comes next might change the way you see everything. Your person has been holding something inside for a very long time, not days, not weeks, much longer than they would ever admit. They did not just wake up one morning and stop thinking about you. They did not suddenly fall out of love or move on without effort. That is the story they told the world, and maybe even told themselves. But underneath that story, feelings were still alive. Those feelings did not disappear. They went quiet. They went underground. And hidden feelings do not stay still forever. They build pressure. They grow heavier. And eventually, they force their way to the surface whether the person is ready or not. This message comes from that pressure. It does not come from confidence or peace. It comes from fear. Deep, quiet, unspoken fear. Your person is not at peace right now. Their mind is not settled. Their heart is not calm. Something happened recently that cracked open what they had been trying to keep shut. Maybe they came across something that made them think of you without warning. Maybe they heard your name. Maybe the noise of daily life finally went quiet enough that the truth became too loud to ignore. Whatever it was, it woke something in them, and what it woke up was this: the very real possibility that they might lose you completely. Not just in life, not just in contact, but in your heart. And that thought did not arrive gently. It landed on them in the middle of the night, when they could not distract themselves anymore. It landed when their phone felt empty and laughter around them felt hollow. It arrived when silence started asking questions they could no longer push away. Stay with this, because what comes next is the part most people never get to hear. They realize something that shook them. No one else feels the way you feel. No one else listens the way you do. No one else understood them without needing everything to be explained. No one else made them feel completely safe without making them feel trapped. That realization is when the panic started, and here is something you need to understand right now. This panic is not only coming from love. A big part of it is coming from the terror of losing something they can never replace. If your person could speak honestly, without fear, without pride getting in the way, this is what they would say. They would say they should have done something sooner. They believed they had more time. They never thought you would actually reach your limit. They did not understand that staying silent was slowly doing damage. They are learning one of the hardest lessons a person can learn. Doing nothing is still a decision, and that decision cost them something real. They feel the weight of not showing up when you needed them. They regret the moments they stayed quiet when you needed to hear that everything would be okay. They regret not choosing courage when the moment called for it. Because at that time, silence felt like safety. Pulling away felt like control. Avoidance felt like strength. But avoidance never protects anyone. It only delays the damage and then doubles it. Your person finds it hard to show emotion, not because they feel nothing, but because they feel everything and they have no idea how to carry it without breaking. Being open meant risking rejection. Showing their soft side meant losing their grip. Admitting how deeply they cared meant coming face to face with parts of themselves they were not ready to meet. One old and well-known idea in psychology says that until you make the hidden things inside you visible, they will drive your life from the dark, and you will simply call it fate. Your person was living that truth without even knowing it. They let fear make their choices. They let pride do the talking. They let silence handle the hard conversations. And now all of those invisible decisions have become very visible problems they can no longer walk away from. They can feel that you are different. This is the part that is really hitting them. Your person can sense that you are no longer the same version of yourself they once knew. Your energy has shifted. Your responses are different. Your silence now carries more weight than any words you ever said. You might still hold love for them, but you are no longer chasing them for answers. You are no longer repeating yourself trying to be understood. You are no longer standing in uncertainty, waiting for something that never came. And that scares them more than anything, because they leaned on your patience more than they had any right to. They counted on your kindness. They counted on your willingness to stay open while they stayed closed. They assumed you would simply always be there. They never considered that you would quietly reach a point where you chose yourself instead. But you did, and they can feel it. What they are afraid to lose now is not just you as a person. It is the feeling you gave them. The feeling of being truly seen without being judged. The sense of emotional safety they never spoke about but always needed. The connection that felt like home. They are beginning to understand something that far too many people realize far too late. Not every bond can be rebuilt. Not every relationship can be replaced by finding someone new. Some connections are one of a kind, and when they are gone, they are truly gone. They are asking themselves a question that keeps growing louder. Did I destroy the one thing that actually mattered? That question does not leave them. It follows them when they try to move on. It comes up every time they are around someone new and immediately feel how different it is. That is where the sense of urgency is really coming from. It is not about tricks. It is not about control. It is the gut-level awareness that time is no longer a luxury they have. They feel that if they wait much longer, you will not be reachable, not just physically, but in the deepest part of you. They feel a door closing, not a loud slam, not a dramatic goodbye, just a slow, quiet closing. And that kind of closing is the most final of all. They want to reach out. They want to explain. They want to say sorry in a way that is real and not wrapped in excuses. But fear is still there, fighting them every step of the way. Fear asks, what if it is already too late? Fear asks, what if you no longer care? Fear asks, what if they finally show who they truly are and still get rejected? So they pause. They write messages they never send. They rehearse conversations in their mind that never happen out loud. And all the while, the urgency builds. But this message is not a promise that everything will be fixed. It is a confession. They are not claiming to have all the answers. They are not saying that everything is healed. What they are admitting, even through their silence, is that they were wrong to treat you like you would always wait. They did not understand how much you meant to them until they felt the absence of you. They are afraid now that they caused damage that cannot be undone. And that fear is painful because it arrives when the ability to change things feels out of reach. What this means for you is more important than what it means for them. So listen carefully to this next part. This message is not telling you what to do. It is not asking you to wait. It is not pushing you to forgive or go back. It is simply laying out the truth. You mattered far more than they ever showed you. Your absence is louder than your presence ever was. The connection was real, even if it was handled carelessly. What you choose to do with this is where your real power lives. And here is what most people miss at this exact moment. Feeling urgency does not mean a person has changed. Your person feels urgency now because they are finally facing the results of choices they made when it actually mattered. Consequences do not ask for your permission. They do not wait until you are comfortable. They show up when you can no longer look away. Your person is there right now. They are replaying moments they once thought were small, conversations they dismissed, silences they assumed you would just absorb. They are seeing those moments completely differently now through the lens of loss instead of pride. And when someone begins to lose their emotional bond with you, their memory sharpens. What once felt ordinary now feels irreplaceable. They remember how you checked in without being asked. They remember how you could tell something was wrong before they said a single word. They remember how you stayed steady when they pulled away, and how you tried to understand rather than punish. Now that understanding feels like a weight, because they are seeing something painful. You are meeting them at a depth they were not prepared for. There is an old truth that says, the heaviest burden a person carries is the life they chose not to live. Your person has been carrying the weight of avoided feelings, avoided growth and avoided effort for a long time. Now that they have spent so long avoiding, they feel exposed without having said a single word. They feel seen even in the quiet. Because the quiet has changed. Before, silence felt like breathing room. Now it feels like distance. Before, silence felt temporary. Now it feels like a conclusion. They sense that you are no longer waiting for them to grow up. You are no longer building your life around someone who had no clear direction. This is where the fear gets heavier. It is not just the fear of being rejected. It is the fear of no longer being significant. They are scared that you have already let go inside without ever saying so. They are scared you did not need a big argument or a formal ending. You simply shifted, and that shift terrifies someone who always counted on you being there. They are also seeing something else clearly for the first time. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for presence. You are not asking for intensity. You are asking for consistency. You are not asking them to become someone different. You are asking them to actually be the person they said they were. Now they can see how many times they chose comfort over courage. They told themselves they needed space when they were actually just choosing silence. They told themselves they were protecting themselves when they were really just avoiding. They said they were not ready, but readiness is a choice, and they did not make that choice when you were still offering your heart. That truth is heavy, because the offer no longer exists in the same way. Your person feels this loss at a deep level. They feel it in the tone of your words. They feel it in the way you respond or sometimes choose not to respond. They feel it in the fact that you are no longer working to prove your worth to them. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped justifying your feelings. You stopped trying to make them see something they were not willing to look at. And that shift does something to them. It disrupts the balance they built their behavior on. They thought kindness meant you would stay forever. They thought patience was endless. They thought your love meant you would keep waiting no matter what. They did not know that patience has a natural end, and that self-respect always shows up eventually, even if it shows up quietly. And this is exactly where they are stuck right now. Stay with this because the next part changes everything. They want to talk to you, but they do not want to start a conversation they cannot follow through on. They want to say sorry, but they do not want to make promises they are not sure they can keep. They want closeness, but they are afraid of the real effort it requires. They are caught between wanting you and fearing what wanting you means. They are caught between missing you and keeping their distance. They are caught between regret and pride. This is why their energy feels scattered and unsteady. Their actions do not line up with their feelings, and that creates a kind of inner war that never stops. They play out conversations in their head where they say exactly the right thing and everything turns out okay. but doing something in imagination is far safer than doing it in real life. Real life demands follow-through, and fear holds the tightest grip right there. They are even afraid that if you gave them another chance, they might still let you down. What they do not yet see is that you are no longer waiting for the right words. You are watching what people actually do. You are no longer moved by apologies that are not backed by real change. You are grounded now. You are not waiting to be convinced of your own worth. Someone once said that wisdom does not come from imagining the light, but from being willing to look at the dark parts of yourself honestly. You have done that work quietly. You sat with your pain. You let yourself feel it. You let clarity take the place of confusion. Your person is only just beginning that journey now. Timing matters because growing after loss feels entirely different from growing while love is still available. They know that even if they reach out now, things cannot go back to what they were. What they miss most is the version of you that trusted them without question. And trust is not something you rebuild with words alone. It is built with time, consistency, and repeated honesty. Right now, your person is standing at a threshold. Behind them is the familiar comfort of hiding. In front of them is the risk of complete honesty. They know that doing nothing means losing you for good. But they also know that speaking up means looking at themselves with no filter, and that is something they have spent years refusing to do. What you feel from them is not just confusion, it is a breaking point. A moment where truth is breaking through and they cannot stop it. You, however, are not in the middle of it anymore. You have moved forward. And that changes the entire picture. There is a quiet truth working beneath all of this. Loss does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it is a whisper. Sometimes it is a subtle shift in how someone talks to you. Sometimes it is a small change in energy that cannot be explained away. Your person feels that whisper now. They feel it when they think about calling and then realize they are not sure where they stand. They feel it when they imagine you living your life fully without them. They feel it when they notice that the person who used to wait and hope is no longer doing either of those things. And that thought disturbs them deeply because for the first time they are facing something completely outside their control. For a long time, your person resisted how much they actually cared about you. They pushed back against being present. They resisted openness. They avoided depth. And all of that resistance has now turned into one heavy feeling they cannot set down. They are not just afraid of losing you. They are afraid of what losing you says about who they are. They know this was not just bad timing. It was fear. Fear of being seen. Fear of failing. Fear that they would not know how to hold something rare without breaking it. Now that the fear has done its damage, they are reviewing every moment they stayed quiet when they could have spoken. Every silence they chose over honesty. Those moments felt small then. They feel enormous now. They are starting to understand that you did not just walk away in one day. You adapted slowly and carefully. You stopped filling in the gaps they left. You stopped giving them the benefit of the doubt when their actions did not match their words. You stopped sacrificing your own peace just to hold things together. It happened gradually, without drama, without noise. And now they feel the weight of that gradual change. They see that you no longer lean on them. They notice your words carry less emotional weight. They see that you are no longer working to be understood by someone who was not willing to listen. And what scares them is not that you are distant. It is that you are calm. Calm means you have found acceptance. Calm means you are no longer fighting for a different outcome. Your person is used to emotional chaos. They are comfortable in confusion and mess. What they do not know how to handle is someone who is clear, grounded, and moving forward without needing anything from them. Clarity does not argue. It simply walks ahead. They are realizing that even if they speak up now, things are different. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are standing in your own self-respect. And that changes the rules of everything. Their fear is growing more complex by the day. They are afraid that reaching out will reveal just how much growing they still need to do. They are afraid you see them more clearly than they see themselves. And truth does not care about excuses. They want to tell you they cared. They want to explain all the silences, but they are beginning to understand that recognizing something too late does not undo the pain. Being sorry does not rebuild trust unless it is followed by real, visible, consistent change. This is why they remain frozen. They are caught between the version of themselves that hides and the version that grows. And there is no growing without going through something painful. They are in that pain right now, sitting with regret, sitting with the discomfort of knowing that even if they change, another chance is not guaranteed. This is the root of the urgency. It is a rush to face themselves. They see clearly now that you were not just someone in their life. You were a reflection. You showed them what depth and honesty actually look like. Instead of looking into that reflection, they turned away. Now that you are no longer there in the same way, they feel lost, disconnected from themselves. They are asking hard questions about why being open was so difficult. They are learning that growth put off always comes back with a price. What you are sensing from them right now is not random. It is the feeling of someone waking up to their own patterns. And waking up is not gentle. They feel regret, but they also feel something else, respect for you. They can see that you did not fall apart when they pulled away. You did not chase or beg. You grew. You chose yourself. That makes them look at you differently. They know you are not someone who can be treated carelessly anymore. You are not available for halfway effort. That raises the stakes. Higher stakes mean they have to become a better person, not just say the right words, and that is why they are torn. They do not want to come back as the same person, but they do not yet know who they are without their walls up. So they sit with the tension, they sit with the struggle, but here is the most important thing for you to hear right now. Their struggle does not obligate you to open back up. Their new awareness does not mean you have to go backward. Their urgency does not define your value. You are becoming who you truly are right now, and you do not need anyone's permission to keep becoming. You are not being cold, you are being clear, and whatever happens next will be built on truth, not fear. There is one final thing happening beneath all of this. When someone waits too long to be honest, the other person changes. You have changed. Your person feels this. They feel that the version of you who would have done anything for them is no longer the version standing here now. They know that a conversation today would not look the same as it would have before. They sense the ground has moved. This makes them more urgent because they are asking themselves whether they are even worthy of who you have become. They see that you have gained perspective. You did not grow distant out of bitterness. You grew distant because you learned, and learning changes everything. They feel that if they spoke to you now, you would listen without rushing to comfort them. That is more frightening to them than if you were angry. Anger means there is still attachment. Peace means you belong to yourself. They are seeing that the balance of things has changed because you decided to grow. You used to wait. You used to hope. Now you are simply steady, and that steadiness is the most powerful thing in the room.